Good evening and welcome to the Remuera Bowling Club in Auckland, where we have got the semi-final underway of the Professional Bowls Association, the World Bowls Singles Qualifier here at the Remuera Club. Of course, yesterday we had the qualifiers for the pairs, and today been going all day so far to get down to the semi-final stage, and of course then we're bringing you the final, and the winner, of course, wings their way to the UK to have the opportunity to play in the World Indoor Singles at Potters at Sheffield, where the creme de la creme assemble in a very, very high-profile event with significant prize money. And we're going to feature this semi-final, Jesse Russell of Cambridge, out of the Cambridge Central Club in the Waikato, up against Ricky Howe. Now, Ricky Howe plays a dual member, plays at the Helensville Club on North Harbour, and also way up in the far north as well, plays in the Russell Club. And this, in fact, is his first year in the Professional Bowls Association, and he's won his way through to the semi-final. The marker we've got is Steve Hoft, and we're about to start the second end, the 9 end sets. So the object, of course, is you win the 2 sets, you win the match. If, however, it is all locked up at 1 set apiece, we then go to a tie-break situation. So we saw on that very first end Ricky Howe score a single on the carpet here at Remuera. So 1-0 to Ricky Howe as he plays his first bowl on the second end, comes in behind the jack, sits directly on the centre line, about a metre behind. Russell, of course, was a beaten semi-finalist by Jamie Hill a couple of week backs here in the Scottish qualifying singles. And I can tell you that Jamie Hill again has won his way through to the semi-final. He defeated Ashley Jeffcoat in the quarter-final a couple of hours back. And he now waits the game between David Eads and Bart Robinson, which is underway, or nearly finished, in fact, out here as well. So Jamie Hill will play the winner of the Eads-Robertson match. And in the quarterfinals, we saw Jesse Russell defeat Linda Ralph, and Ricky Howe defeated the marker Steve Hobbs. So we've seen Ricky Howe now deliver 2 bowls behind the jack. Drawing on the back end, Jesse Russell going to that forehand side. A very, very good singles player, draw player is Jesse Russell. As we watch his second bowl on this, the second set, come towards the jack. It won't have the weight to get all the way down to the counting area. You'll see the 2 bowls, the black bowls or dark coloured bowls of Ricky Howe in behind the jack. Here's his third bowl again on the backhand, playing in the Russell Bowling Club shirt, and I hope the members of the Russell Club up north have the opportunity to be watching this on Sky Sport Next. Here's one of your own from the far north, who's into the semi-final and 1 game away from a final opportunity to make his way to the finals of the PBA World Qualifiers. We see the second bowl now of Russell endeavouring to draw inside and going to do so. Draws right to the jack, going to sit just jack level, about 15 inches level from the jack. And again, I'm sure we'll see how, surprisingly, changing his hands. I thought he would have stayed on that backhand side and tried to get inside the bowl and get a touch on the jack. But how going to the forehand. You'll see, after playing 3 bowls on the backhand, it looks to have a bit of weight on, though, as it goes by, and is going to. And, in fact, will go through and sit on one of his own bowls, just the one down. Jesse Russell, the chance to make 2. On the forehand is Russell from the Cambridge Central Club. Looks to be on a wider line than what his counting bowl was. Needs to get under this shorter bowl with weight to get to the counting area. Won't do so. It'll be just the one. It's 2 ends gone, 1 apiece. And Ricky Howe signaling to Jesse Russell, just the 1. And of course, these qualifiers, they've been played all around the country this weekend at various places: New Plymouth, Hawke's Bay, 9A in Wellington, and down in the deep south in Invercargill, Waverley. They're playing down there as well. And Tyree and Dunedin. And then the various winners of these qualifying events will all come together in September, and we'll have the finals weekend, which we'll be bringing you the coverage of that on Sky Sport next. And those fortunate winners of those particular events, their winning, or their purse, so to speak, is a trip to the UK or Scotland to play in these world events where you got the best players around the world who line up in these Professional Bowls Association events. So here's now Ricky Howe on his forehand. First bowl of Jesse Russell's just drew lower the jack, and Ricky Howe needs to sit inside the bowl, not going to, sits on the outside of the bowl. Russell will stay on his backhand, just needs to draw past his own counting bowl. Cambridge Central located literally as you come into the Cambridge in the garden area there, here in the gardens area. Lovely picturesque spot as Russell duly draws past his front bowl and will count. So Ricky Howe just needs another half a metre of weight on his first. And this looks to be on a good line, this bowl, but has it got the weight to get inside that shot bowled? Yes, it has, and rest just feathers on the bowl and will make shot of it. Just got a touch on the Jesse Russell bowl and got a roll towards the jack. Now Russell now going to his forehand. Definitely Howe holding the shot as we play the third end of 9. Russell endeavouring to try and get the jack, and gets the jack around the corner, moves it back to where his other counting bowlers, and will hold 2 shots. Ricky Howe now, I'm sure, will go to his backhand to endeavour to draw up to where those 2 counting bowls are. So Jesse Russell makes his way back to the mat to play his last bowl on this, the third end. After we saw Howe draw that lovely forehand draw shot. And then we saw the jack get moved. And then again, Ricky Howe played up and moved the jack again. And it forced Jesse, and drew the shot, forced Jesse Russell to change his hand. He might be checking to see whether the bowl is in or not. The jack has been moved quite a distance across the rink, but it's still in. So here now is Ricky Howe endeavouring to draw it. One down to that last bowl of Jesse Russell's. The Howe bowl now making its way towards the head. Just depends on that weight. And the bowl was out, in fact, as we thought it may have been. It may well be 2 shots now to Ricky Howe. He's got the mat, and it was 2. Marker Steve Hoff, you'll see marking the scoreboard there. 3-1 now to Ricky Howe, who won the North Harbour Peers earlier on this year, playing with Bart Robertson, who is coming to the latter stages of his quarter-final match up against David Eads. I know that Eads won the first set, and also can tell that Jamie Hill awaits the winner of that game. Hill already through to the semi-final here of the World Bowls qualifier. That's the singles. Here's Howe now on his backhand, leading 3-1 at last end. Certainly changed around bowl for bowl. And Ricky Howe, of course, beat Steve Hoff in his quarter-final, drawing on the backhand. It'll be about a metre short. He certainly favoured playing on that backhand side. And Russell from the Cambridge Central Club on his forehand. Just question the weight. How far is it going to go by the jack? That'll be the shot, but it will go by half a metre by the head, but right back to the centre line. Jesse Russell needs to just get past, beat his first bowl, and will have shot on the backhand. Is the Far North, the Russell player. Just how far it's going to come back to the centre line. Coming back now, this bowl of Howes, and that'll be the shot. It's going to sit inside the bowl of Jesse Russell. That's certainly the shot on this, the fourth end. So Russell again now on his forehand. He's got a metre though to draw the shot. Looks to be on a fairly good line. How far is the weight going to run? That'll run in for shot. It is. Just still about 2 foot short of the jack on that forehand side, but still room for Ricky Howe to draw past his front bowl and draw down to the jack. Just how far is this going to come back towards this centre line? It's on a good track. How's the weight? Still got the chalk on it. It's going to go by. It won't be a toucher though. And Steve Hoff, the market, rubbing that chalked mark off the bowl. And Jesse Russell endeavouring to make 2 shots of it. It's on a good line to do so. Just needs to get to his own bowl and he'll make 2 of it, and that should be 2. Steve Hoff, the marker, should indicate that to us. It is 2 shots. So Ricky Howe again now. Just asking the marker how far, asking Steve Hoff how far, how short that bowl is. You'll see him indicating it's around about 18 inches to 2 feet short. So we see Howe now on the backhand, endeavouring to get past his own front bowl and come back to that centre line. Needs to have the weight to come all the way back. I don't think he has. He's on the right track, but he didn't have the weight. So here's a chance for Jesse Russell on this, the fourth end, to capitalise and score 3 shots. Jump to a 4-3 lead. On the forehand is Russell. It's on a wider line than his previous 2 bowls. But still, a break towards the jack now, and that'll count for sure. And I'll just wait to see from Steve Hoff, the marker, but it looked like 3 shots to me. We'll see. Steve Hoff will change the board just to confirm that. But certainly looked like 3. So the jack being delivered down past the 2 metre mark and will be placed on the 2 metre mark by that marker. Thanks to Tamara and Philip, who are here this evening again, working late, double time on the Sunday evening, bringing you this coverage on Sky Sport next. And of course we'll have the final live immediately, well, fairly quickly after the conclusion of this semi-final, as we see Russell draw just low of the jack. Onto the forehand straight away is Ricky Howe. Just going to check that scoreboard for you in but a moment. And Howe's drawing inside to get to the shot bowl. And that's the shot. 100 mil short, just lower the jack was the call from the market, Steve Hoff. And just still a wait to get that view from the markup. That is confirmed at 4-3 to Jesse Russell. And a good bowl here from Russell after we saw Howe just draw lower the jack, but need another roll on the bowl on this, the 50 in. So it will leave Howe holding the shot, the Russell player, Russell and Helensville player, holding one. He's got out on that wider, safe line as it now comes back towards the jack. Needs to get past this front bowl, doesn't do so, rolls the bowl of Russell's over, doesn't cause any damage, still lays the shot. At 4-3, you can see the scoreboard clearly there, 4-3 to Jesse Russell as we play end 5 of 9. Remember, we're playing sets, so it's 2 9-end sets. He is now Russell on the back end, endeavouring to play down to the counting bowl, try and push it through the head. It's on a good track, mightn't get it clean though, needs to get it clean, doesn't do so. Feathers into the bowl. Great attempt there from the Cambridge Central player. Had a good chance of making 3 of that. Just got the bowl, quarter of a bowl wide, didn't get the run onto the front bowl to push it through the head. So Ricky Howe still holding the shot as he plays his 3rd bowl. Following this bowl up to see where it's going to go over the head, and he'll be happy with that bowl, will Ricky Howe, because if there's a tacking weight played by Jesse Russell and the jack was to move back, he does have got some cover in there. Remember, Jamie Hill is already through to the semi-finals, and we just wait to see whether he'll be playing David Eads or Bart Robinson in that other semi-final, which should get underway in a few minutes. And Russell looks playing with that same attacking weight, though. He's going to go by on the wide side. Certainly played the weight to get that result, to move the darkest colour bowl of the House out of the head. So we come to the end of the 5th end of this first set. 9 ends per set, and here's how now. Looks to be narrow though, and it will be, and it just be the one shot, and he'll be happy to score the one there. Russell all but played the perfect shot with his 3rd bowl. He's just got the wrong side of the bowl. So the Professional Bowls Association was formed here in Auckland in the early 2000s. In fact, it was the brainchild of former New Zealand board member Brett O'Reilly. He was one of the foundation members to get it underway, and it's been going ever since. And a number of our leading players and blackjacks, of course, play in these various PBA events around the countryside, endeavouring to win a trip to the UK, to the Scottish Singles or the World Indoor Championships at Potters. Remembering this is just the qualifier, the actual winner of this event won't be found until the finals weekend in Dunedin, which is early in September. And we'll have that live for you. And of course, coming up shortly in the weeks to come on Sky Sport Next, we'll be bringing from around the countryside the various champion to champion events for Bowls New Zealand, the singles and pairs, which Brenton Van Nistelrooy will be covering, and the triples and the fours, which I will be covering those from Hawke's Bay and Pukekohe, as we see Russell get a touch off the front bowl of Ricky Howes. Just sits on top of the jack, a wry smile there. So Howe now will endeavour to play up to that bowl. And then, of course, we'll be bringing you from Dunedin as well on Sky Sport. We'll be bringing you the inaugural North-South match. Teams have been selected, and it's going to be a fantastic event. We've got the best players from both the North Island and the South Island playing in the Ryder Cup format, and we'll be bringing that event on Sky Sport as well. So plenty of bowls to come in the coming weeks with the Champion of Champions, and of course the North-South match to follow, as we see Jesse Russell trying to draw under his head. Now that just gives it gives a backhand line with a yard of weight through that to Ricky Howe to play through that with a yard of weight, which he's endeavouring to try and do, which will dislodge the shot pole. He can play through there with weight now. It's endeavouring what he's trying to do here. He's on target too to get that perfect shot, does so, and sits the shot bowl out, lays 2. That bowl of Jesse Russell's just falling lower. The jack gave Ricky Howe a perfect line up there on the backhand to play with a yard of weight. Jesse Russell, and he played it to perfection. And Jesse Russell on the wider side, and will go by, whereas we saw Ricky Howe playing on that tighter line, played with the perfect line and perfect weight, and for him to lay 2 shots as we come to his last bowl on this the 16, and we've seen Howe now endeavouring to get right past the head, which he won't do. He won't get far enough back to beat the deepest bowl of Jesse Russell, because Russell will certainly be attacking down that line. Just needs to bring his line in. He was too wide with his first bowl, and I'm questioning whether he's going to come back enough now. On the breaking now towards the bowl, he's right on target here and gets the jack. That repeat performance, and what Russell did, and that'll be 2 to Jesse Russell, takes him now to a 6-4 lead. And again, we saw that end change. The players moved the jack around and got the right results on 2 occasions, and with the last bowl where Ricky Howe was endeavouring to try and get the deepest bowl on the green, knowing that Jesse Russell would be attacking the head, which he duly did, and moved the jack back a few metres to his 2 counting bowls. It looks as though I can see Jamie Hill there. Looks as though they're getting ready to get that other semi-final underway, which will be fantastic if they can get that underway. So we want to endeavouring not to have a large time gap between the semi-final and final, as we see Jesse Russell drawing right down towards the jack, gets a touch on it, perfectly bowled right in front of the jack. Front toucher sits about 6 inches lower the jack. So Howe now, as we play the 7th end, play on his backhand, endeavouring to draw down to where that shot bowl is. It's going to be under green and low of the head. Have the line right, finishes jack level, but certainly the line wasn't where it needed to be. And now Russell will quickly try and really just, if he could draw behind the head to the 2 metre mark, he'd be quite happy, because you have a counting bowl and a bowl over the head. But in fact, he's going to run wide of that and not get back to that area where he wants to. How though? Endeavour again to get down to the change on that line. Question whether he's got that line right yet. Looks as though it's going to be under the head. Just going to finish jack low. Didn't have the weight to get all the way, just the one down. Of course, it's the 7th end. He doesn't want Jesse Russell to get too far in front. 6-4 and holding the shot. In fact, looks with this bowl coming into the head, may well be holding 2 after this, and he will be, and gets that. Oh, the problem with that bowl for Russell is he's just opened the head up, and it can allow now Ricky Howe to change his hand to the forehand, play down there with a yard of weight, but he's electing to stay on the backhand. I think his best option is actually on the forehand to get, and he's now changing to the forehand to get down through those 2 counting bowls, and playing with reaching weight on the forehand, trying to get to the counting bowls. It's coming back now, but it's going to come back enough. No, it won't, but he gets one of the bowls, just the one down. Had a perfect track in there to the jack to play into those 2 bowls. It certainly would have made life, well, it would have been, wouldn't have made much difference really, but it would have given him the shot, because this Russell now, of course, holding the shot and leading 6-4, and we are playing the 7th of 9 ends. And I can tell you that it was David Eads that won the other semi-final over Bart Robinson. So David Eads defeated Bart Robinson, and he will now play Jamie Hill, as we see Russell endeavouring to draw another shot. In fact, he's short. I think from Ricky Howe's point of view, He needs to play now. He wants to get to the jack. He needs to play quick under that line, under that short bowl of Jesse Russell's to get to the jack. And is going to that forehand. But will need to play it quicker than he did with his last to get that ideal result. And he is doing so. Trying to get to the jack itself. Is it going to come back enough? No, it's not. Just goes on the outside of the jack. That'll be another one to Russell. So he goes to a 7-4 lead. 7-4 now after 7 of the 9 ends. And I can tell you the other semi-final in the Auckland chapter or Auckland branch of the World Bowls PBA qualifier here at the Remuera Bowling Club will be between Jamie Hill of Auckland and David Eads of North Harbour. And that game is just getting underway as we speak. $7-4 now to Jesse Russell as we play the 8th end. So Russell on his forehand. And remembering, of course, that if after 2 sets have played, it's a set apiece, we go to a 3-end tiebreaker. The Remuera Club has been played at just off Market Road here in the Newmarket, Remuera Newmarket area. Established in 1895, been around for 126 years. One of the old and iconic clubs of not only Auckland but New Zealand, and certainly still got the stately old 2-story clubhouse in behind us here, and the now covered indoor facility as well. So here's Jesse Russell with his second bowl, going to finish jack level, setting the head up nicely. And the first bowl of Ricky Howes was under the head. Here's Howe again. He's got this bowl out on a wider line. On that backhand side, needs to get all the way down. Is it going to needs to get inside this bowl of Russell's not going to. Sits on top of the bowl, in fact, and will still leave it. Jesse Russell holding 2 shots, still laying 2. Here again is Russell from the Cambridge Central Club on his backhand. Holding 2 shots. And this one's going to be under the line. I'm going to go past that, the 3rd shot of Ricky Howe. Howe now again. Just needs another metre of weight on that backhand draw. He's certainly out wider. Just a matter of, is it going to come back all the way? Certainly trying to get back to the jack. And will do so, and sits in behind the jack. Just drew underneath that bowl of Jesse Russell's and made shot of it, and that's definitely a shot bowl. Russell now on the back end will certainly want to try and draw to that bowl. We can turn the bowl through or get a touch on the jack. It's on a good line, this bowl of Russell's, but is it going to get under the head and completely got a touch on the bowl? In fact, touched the front bowl of Ricky Howes. Asking the marker, Steve Hoft, who's got shot after he got that feather of a bowl, and it's 1 to Ricky Howe. And just asking the marker whether that backhand bowl, whether it's lower the jack, and he said it's just 1 bowl low, so holding 1 is Howe, and he'll certainly want to be out on that wide backhand safer side, doesn't want to touch anything. And is on that same line as his last bowl, but not going to get under the bowl. Certainly had good drawing weight. Just be the 1. According to our marker, Steve Hoff, that was 1 shot to the far north player. And it is conceded by Ricky Howe. So we go into this last end now. The 9th end of this, the first set of the semi-final of the Professional Bowls Association Auckland qualifier. for the World Bowls Singles Qualifier, and it is Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central who is leading Ricky Howe of the Far North into the Russell Club by 7 shots to 5. And the other semi-final, as I say, is between Jamie Hill and David Eads, and that semi-final has just got underway. On the backhand is Ricky Howe, and he's going to be just slightly under the line and slightly underweighted. Just needs a couple of rolls of weight, just a fraction more green. Russell has been pretty impressive with the line he's found with his bowl. He's got a pretty constant draw line back towards the centre line of the jack. As you watch this bowl, that's exactly what this is going to do. May not get all the way, but will get far enough up towards the to the centre line for shot. Just sit slow with the jack. Change your hand immediately from Ricky Howe. Remembering he needs 2 shots to tie the end, trailing 7-5. So this bowl really of Ricky Howe's has got to get a counting result for him. Needs to get past the bowl, and will do so. Got a touch on the shot bowl of Jesse Russell's, but just ran by a couple of feet, and will still leave Jesse Russell holding the shot. So here again is Russell on that backhand. He certainly brought his line in. So that forehand draw line for Ricky Howe is just inside the date. You'll see his dark coloured bowl lower the head, and his draw line is just under that bowl to the jack. Gets under his own bowl, he'll be very close to getting that target. And of course, any touch on the jack is beneficial as well to Ricky Howe. Or he turns his own bowl over, which he looks as though he's going to do, and does. And again, rolled through the head. Whether it's done enough or not, don't think so. I think it's still the one down. But there's certainly now for Howe with his last bowl on this, the 9th end. A touch on the jack would certainly give him 3 shots. And Jesse Russell very keen to get a bowl in behind, and is going to do just that. Well played from Jesse Russell. Sits in behind, asking the marker 1 or 2 down. Just the 1 down's the call. Of course, needing 2 shots. So I'm sure you'll see how one second shot was the call there from the marker, Steve Hoff. So on the forehand, with a yard of weight through the head, we'll see how playing to either sit the bowl or to get the jack. On the forehand, searches how. Just question if it's too wide. Looks to be too wide on the way through, and it will be. And that'll be a 1-2. Jesse Russell will give him the first set by 8 shots to 5. So that's the first end completed here in this semi-final of the World Bowls Qualifier. Not sure what's going on here. I brought the mat up. I thought he was going to play his bowl. No need to, of course. So Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central has won the first set of 9 ends over Ricky Howe of the Far North from the Russell Club. It was the first set by 8 shots to 5. The other semi-final, of course, sees Jamie Hill playing David Eads. That game, 2 ends have been played of the first set. So it's Howe to deliver. Must have Russell delivered the jack for the first set, so now it's the second set. Ricky Howe to deliver the jack. Remember, this is Howe's first year playing in this professional bowls qualifiers, And he's done exceptionally well and won his way through. Beat Steve Hoft of Auckland in his quarter-final to be here against Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central, who earlier beat Linda Ralph in his quarter-final. So the first bowl is about half a metre or a metre lower the jack, right on the centre line. On the backhand side, Russell now on his forehand. Got plenty of room to draw the shot. Trying to work its way back towards the centre line. Not going to do so. On the backhand now is Ricky Howe. He's got on that nice wider line on that backhand line. But just how far is it going to come back? Certainly working its way back towards the centre line now, but going to fall outside and will be a metre away. So this is end one of the second set. And again, this bowler, Jesse Russell's short, metre and a half. Short, plenty of room here for Ricky Howe with his third bowl to draw the shot on his backhand side. Certainly is on that line where they tend to come back, but question how far is it going to come back onto that centre line, how far is it going to run, it's going to go by. So Russell now with plenty of room really on the carpet to come past his own short bowls and draw the shot, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He has got a feather on his own bowl, but it was always going to be close anyway, and that's certainly the shot. So Howe here on his backhand, down on the head on this first end of the second set. He's brought that line in. How far has he brought it in? Because it's certainly a swinging hand there. He hasn't got the weight. So asking Steve Hoft the marker indicating to Jesse Russell close to having two shots, which is a good start on this opening end of the second set, especially after you've got the first set in the bag. Needs to come past his own bowl, his front bowl. Is not going to do so though. It may count though. No, it won't. It sort of veered its way across the head. Have a look now to see what the story is. Definitely the back bowl's the shot. And it is just the two, as we thought. So Jesse Russell opens up on this, the first end of the second set, scoring two shots. And the jack again will come back to that 2 metre mark. See Steve Hoft place the jack right on the 2 metre mark. Here's Russell now from the Cambridge Central Club on his backhand. He'll be under the line and leaves a metre for Ricky Howe to come past to draw the shot. Howe the last couple of ends just struggled. Started off so consistent early on, but the last few ends just struggled slightly with his line and weight. So now's the time to rectify that, and he's going to do so here, draw the shot. Sitting just a bowl over jack level, but will certainly be the shot. Russell now on his backhand. And again, it looks to be under the line. Needs a bit of luck here. Runs into his own, doesn't turn it over. Was certainly under the line. So Howe now play on his backhand. Need to. It's on a certain different line with this bowl, and that makes one think, has it got the weight to get all the way? You can see once you get on that line, you question whether the weight's going to run you all the way, and it certainly didn't. We'll see now Russell change to his forehand. Nothing in front of him there on the forehand, just question. That looks to have gone out on the wide side, very much so in fact. Big opportunity here now for Ricky Howe, the far north player, and Helensville player, to really put the pressure back onto Russell with his last bowl. And the backhand again is Ricky Howe. Needs to get past his own very short bowl. And break towards the head. It's down past his short bowl. Now to get down to that jack line. He's going to do that exactly right and sits right inside the jack. In fact, sits right in behind it. That's 2 shots. So now Russell endeavouring to play up to that shot bowl. Get any jack movement. Needs to get down past his own bowls. Going to do so. Close to getting that result. Is going to go through the port. Got nothing. Certainly had the weight. Now's the opportunity for Ricky Howe just to draw past his own bowl, his front bowl, and he'll go close to having the counter. And he's on that wider line as it'll start to arc its way back towards the head now. You'll see it start to, but won't have the weight to get all the way. Will it? May do. We'll wait and see. Definitely 2. Definitely 2 shots. And it is 3. So Ricky Howe straight back, scoring a 3. Leads now 3-2 after 3 of 9 ends, after Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central won the first set by 8 shots to 5. And the other semi-final, as I say, there's Jamie Hill up against David Eads, and they're midway through their first set. So here's Howe now on his backhand. Certainly his favoured side. See, he's got more consistency with his draw on the backhand. Going to come up short with that first bowl. That's a metre, a bit short. Sits literally on the centre line. Plenty of room now for Russell. He's on end 3 of 9. On the forehand is Russell with a metre to draw the shot. Just a matter of how far this bowl is going to come back towards the centre line. Just seems on that forehand side, the draw back to the centre line doesn't seem to be as friendly as the backhand side. So Howe looking for a metre of weight, just an alteration to his line. And he's got the weight, certainly got the weight right, has he has, and this comes down towards the jack. Just going to sit about 9 inches, just lower the jack, right on the centre line. Jesse Russell staying on that forehand side. Certainly altered his line from that wider line on that first bowl, because certainly a different line on the forehand. And that bowl may well force Howe now to change his hand. Still holding the shot is Russell. He doesn't want to touch that bowl. Sorry, Howe still holding the shot. May well see the. There we are. We're seeing now Howe going to the forehand side. Doesn't want to touch anything. And you see the bowl on that wider line. Just not has the same. Doesn't draw back. See the bowl move around, in fact, a wee bit on that forehand side. And certainly doesn't draw back to the centre line like it does on the backhand now. We've seen Russell now going to the backhand and endeavouring to play to his own bowl, turn his own bowl into the head, and make shot of it. In fact, is going to be under the line, just going to run into the short bowl of Ricky Howe, just move that towards the head, won't make any difference, so still just the one. So just the Howe now, Ricky Howe wants just to adjust that line. Doesn't want to be out on that wider side because they certainly won't come back. And he's adjusted his line. for sure, and it won't count, but it's over the head. He'll be happy with that. Any movement of the jack, he's now got a bowl in behind the head. Asking what the story is. One down was the call from Steve Hoff, so I'm sure we'll see Russell playing with that yard of weight on the back end, trying to just force the weight through those bowls, dislodge the shot bowl or roll his own bowl into the head. And looks very much on the narrow side again. It's going to be, and that'll be a 1-2. Ricky Howe takes him out to a 4-2 lead. So 4-2 to Ricky Howe after 3 of the 9 ends in the second set, after we saw Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central winning the first set by 8 shots to 5 in the semi-final of the World Bowls Indoor Qualifier here at the Remuera Bowling Club. It's our pleasure to bring you this coverage on Sky Sport next, and of course we'll be bringing you the final as well later on this evening, once of course that both of these semi-finals have been completed. So Jack's been delivered by Ricky Howe and will be down to the 2 metre mark again. Steve Hoff places the jack. So on the backhand is Ricky Howe, leading 4-2 after 3 of the 9 ends. And this is a fairly good bowl. Going to come up short though, but it's right on the centre line, about 18 inches low of the jack. So here's Russell now, who's been favouring his forehand. He may though think that the backhand on both sides is more favourable or more friendly, and he is going to his backhand, endeavouring to draw past that short bowl of Ricky Howe's. It's got it out on that wider line, but it'll come back to the centre line. You can see the bowl now just drawing in right to that centre line, certainly a wider draw line and a more friendly draw back to the centre line than what the forehand offers. Here's Howe again with his second bowl. Needs to improve his weight by about 18 inches, and he's certainly got a better line with this one. Just depends on the weight. We're certainly going to drop the weight off, but we're certainly on a good line. It will be the shot, but needed more weight. And there you see Steve Hoff, the marker just indicating he needed about 2 feet low. So still room on the backhand side for Jesse Russell to draw the shot. Needs to work its way now towards the centre line, but just going to go by, comes back towards the centre line, but finds itself about a metre over the head. Howe will stay on that backhand side. Certainly no danger for him to try and draw his way up through there. Definitely holding the shot. It's on a better line with this bowl. Now it'll work towards the centre line. It'll start to come back now. You'll see it draw all the way back and will fall in, and that will certainly count. So Russell now on that backhand, trailing 4-2 as we play the 4th end. Just trying to get that line right on that backhand side. He's got a better line here, just depends the weight. This is a better line, this bowl from Jesse Russell, perfectly played. Is going to come in, sitting right on inside the shot bowl of Ricky Howe. Howe having a look at the head, chance for him here to stay on that backhand side, and it's a touch on the jack, or indicate it could still be one, in fact, to Marcus Steve Hoff. That front bowl, the top on the right hand side there, may still well be the shot, but there's a chance to get a turn onto that white bowl of Jesse Russell's, and he could turn this into 4 shots, could Ricky Howe, on that backhand, providing he comes past his own and draws to the head. but he's not going to. He's going to be well short, well low of the jack. And in fact, it just cuts that vision line off slightly for Jesse Russell. And we'll see whether he thinks he's got shot or not by his shot selection with his last bowl on this, the fourth end. And the other semi-final, which is underway and is partway playing the fourth end, in fact, they're playing the sixth end, in fact, of the first set. It's Jamie Hill up against David Eads. So here's now Russell on that backhand. He's trying to get under the front bowl he doesn't do so, runs past it. That'll definitely now, that'll seal it. That'll be, say, one shot, two. Got a touch on the bowl, the jack. And see what the marker, Steve Hoff, with it is the one, as we thought. 5-2 now. 5-2 after 4 of the 9 ends. It's Ricky Howe of the Far North and the Russell Club, who leads Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central. So Jack's been delivered here, of course, at the Remuera Club in Auckland on the carpet. And the jack being delivered literally to right onto the 2 metre mark. Howe, no doubt, will stay on his favoured backhand, and he duly is. That's where he's been most comfortable for sure right throughout this match. There's a good opening bowl from the Far North player. Gets a touch on the jack, just goes by. Sits just higher the jack. So Russell persisting on that forehand. The line just seems to be, you have to get it more precise. It's just more difficult to appear to get back to the centre line, but he's going to do so here perfectly and sits right on the Ricky Howe bowl. And Howe electing to change his hand to the forehand. I thought he would have stayed on his backhand. He hasn't played many bowls on that forehand side, but he's tightened the line up for sure, trying to get down to that Jesse Russell bowl. And we'll finish up. Jack level, just sits across from the jack. Still be though the Russell bowl, the Cambridge Central player, definitely holding shot. Now he's going to his backhand to draw inside that last bowl of Ricky Howe's, which would literally give him 2 shots. And going to draw down towards the jack. Doesn't want to touch the jack. Sits alongside it, laying 2 shots. We'll see now how stay on that forehand side. He's got 2 bowls that he can reach up to on the draw and get a touch on the jack, leading 5-2 as we play the 5th end. Coming back towards that point now. Is it going to get inside to the jack? It gets to the bowl, takes out one of the counting bowls. This will be Jesse Russell laying 1 shot for sure as he plays his 3rd bowl, holding the 1. On the backhand is the Cambridge Central player. Looks to be under that backhand line, which not all bad for Ricky Howe. That really shows him where that line is on that forehand, where he needs to go to. Down him to look at the head, see whether he's won that last bowl of Jesse Russell's, whether that made its way into the count. Because if Ricky Howe does play that forehand and is fortunate enough to get a touch on the jack, he can make 3 shots of it. He wasn't far away with his last bowl. So Howe makes his way back to the mat as we come to the end of the 5th set. Still, of course, Jesse Russell with a bowl to play. And Howe endeavouring to get the draw shot onto the counting bowl, or a touch on the jack here, and make 3 shots of it. He's chasing this bowl. He's on the charge, trying to get to the shot bowl. Gets the shot bowl out, where that's made shot of it to the other jack level bowl. Not sure. And that indication was from the marker Steve Hoff that it may be the bowl of Ricky Howes, which is shot. He's having a good look around right around the head. And he is indicating that the bowl to the side, the Jesse Russell bowl, is still shot. So here now on that backhand side, there's ample room for the Cambridge Central player, trailing 5-2 on the 15, to draw another counter after he won the first set, 8 shots to 5. And just going to depend on the weight. Certainly had a better line, but don't have the weight to get all the way. And Steve Hoff, the marker, he's pretty good with his eyes, doesn't get many wrong. It's a measure. No, it's. Well, they're going to measure the bowl in behind the head. The bowl of Ricky Howe. So Jesse Russell, he's got the measure out straight away. Just be the one shot. Close. Go back to the Ricky Howe bowl. Very close, obviously. I'm sure this one, they can't find it on this one. They'll be umpire, as we thought. Umpire's been called to measure the 2 bowls. And Bart Robinson coming out to do the honours. So this will complete 5 ends of 9 in the second set here at the Auckland qualifier, the Professional Bowls Association, the World Bowls qualifier. And of course, the winner of this World Bowls qualifier will make their way to Dunedin in September, where they will play the other qualifiers from around the country and endeavouring to win their way to England, to Sheffield, to Potter's Resort, where the World Indoor is played. Bart Robinson down, having a good look, going back to the Ricky Howe bowl. He'll now go back to the Jesse Russell bowl. It's very close, as just heard Bart Robinson saying. It is very close. Having a good, just the way out that measure's looking, it may well be favouring the back bowl of Ricky Howes. So he's back to that back bowl again now, the Howe bowl. And it was the bowl of Jesse Russell's that was shot. That was close. A 1 to Russell, 5 ends gone. And it is Ricky Howe leading 5 shots to 3 in this 9 end second set. Remembering that Jesse Russell winning the first set by 8 shots to 5. And in their quarterfinals, we saw Ricky Howe defeat Steve Hoft of Auckland. Jesse Russell defeated Linda Ralph of Auckland. David Eads defeated Bart Robertson of North Harbour. And Jamie Hill of Auckland defeated Ashley Jeffcoat of Auckland and Waikato. And yesterday, of course, we had the pairs, the World Qualifier pairs, and we saw the combination yesterday of Danny Delaney and Mike Bradshaw. They defeated Neil Fisher and Steve Cox in 2 straight sets, 10 shots to 3 and 7 shots to 2. So it'll be Bradshaw and Delaney who will wing their way to Dunedin to play the other qualifiers from around the country in the World Pairs Qualifier. And early on, in fact, a couple of weeks back, we had the qualifier for the Scottish singles, of which Jamie Hill defeated Rob Ashton in that final. So that will see Jamie Hill off to Dunedin for the Scottish qualifier. And also, of course, still alive here in this World Bowls qualifier as he plays his semi-final on one of the adjacent rinks against David Eads. So here's the second bowl now of Ricky Howe's as it breaks down towards the jack in the centre line, and it's going to finish just a few inches lower the jack. Jesse Russell's got one higher the jack and one very low the jack. Here he is on the backhand with his third bowl. Needs to get something close. And will come in behind the head. May still well be 2 shots to Russell, to Ricky Howe. And he'll endeavour now to make sure that he's just a couple of feet behind the head, and it will still count, but it does cover the 2 bowls that are there of Jesse Russell's. As we watch this bowl now, that's exactly where he's trying to get to, but it's going to finish literally jack level. No, he goes past. And now you'll see Russell must reach the head. Jack contact is in his favour. He's going to play on his forehand, trying to get up to those bowls, but he's going to go by on the wide side for sure. Here's a big chance for the far north player to jump to a handy lead here. And holding 3 shots, can he make 4 of it and jump to a 9-3 lead after 6 of the 9 ends? Remembering, of course, Russell won the first set. If Howe was to win the second set, we would then go to that 3-end tiebreaker. So Ricky Howe now, no doubt, on his backhand, his favoured backhand, will endeavour to draw that 4th shot, certainly out on that wider safe line as it comes back towards the head now. You can bank that one in the bank. That's 4 for sure. And Jesse Russell, he'd be disappointed with that. It's 4 shots to Ricky Howe. He now jumps to a 9-3 lead after 7 of the 9 ends in this PBA World Bowls semi-final qualifier at the Remuera Bowling Club in Auckland. And again, thank you to Sky Sport. Sky Sport Next bring you this coverage and all the hard work that Tamara and Philip do sitting alongside me. They're all the production people with the cameras and everything else. They do a wonderful job, and we're very appreciative of the work that they do right throughout the season, whether it be summer or winter. So Ricky Howe now, great opportunity to put this second set in the bag and really put the pressure on the Cambridge Central player. It's on that favoured backhand again. Looks to be on a good line as it just comes towards the centre line and will sit right alongside the jack. He certainly found consistency, has Howe on that backhand side. And again, Jesse Russell just falling under that line, whereas more than likely in this set Howe has had that more consistency on that backhand draw, certainly more consistent in getting back to the centre line. And the second bowl is going to finish Jack level, more than likely, not ideally where he wanted to be. It does give a good sighter to Jesse Russell. He knows if he's inside that bolt, he's very close to shot, and it looks as though, no, he's just going to go by. Need to get a touch on the jack, was certainly in the area to do so. Again now, Howe on his backhand, and he'll certainly endeavour to get past the jack, cover that trail shot a bit. That needs to be over the head because Russell will be endeavouring to play the trail, but he's under the line. Will finish jack level, but under the line. You can see, should Jesse Russell get a touch on the jack, there's two bowls sitting just in behind there. Here's Russell. And again, it's going to duck under that line. Will still leave the far north player holding two shots. On the backhand again now with his fourth bowl and last bowl. On this, the seventh end. And he's certainly got this bowl out on that kind of line. But has he got the weight still? No, he won't. Although it might get up enough to count. I'm sure he'll ask whether that one counts or not. Will Jesse Russell, definitely two, trailing 9-3. He's on a better line here to the jack and the shot bowl, and he'll touch this. Only turned it over. Unlucky, was on a perfect line to get the bowl. And we'll see here what Steve Hoff, the marker, indicates. This could well be the second set. Three shots it looks like. And it is. It's the end of the second set, which we have seen Ricky Howe win that comprehensively. 12 shots to 3 after Jesse Russell won the first set by 8 shots to 5. Now remembering in this 3-end tiebreaker, it's not about how many shots you actually score, it's about winning the end. So really, you've got to win 2-1. That's the so Jack's been delivered by Ricky Howe with the far north, the Russell Club, and also of course plays out of Helensville. Played in the North Harbour Piers earlier on this year with Bart Robinson. Jack's been delivered. Steve Hoff, the marker, places it right on the 2 metre mark. No doubt we'll see Ricky Howe now on his backhand. And we are. He's certainly been consistent. And he's picked his line fairly well right throughout the game on this backhand side. And has done so again. Draws just in behind the jack. Jack sitting right on the 2 metre mark. Jesse Russell would like to find that same consistency on that backhand line, but again, with a mighty good weight, but just going to just lower the jack, but finishes jack level, just moving away from the centre line. This second bowl, though, we have seen how just lose a metre of weight. So here we just want to see that improvement, or Jesse Russell will want to see that improvement, that slight improvement on his line to get back to that counting bowl, and is just going to go by. Certainly So here's the third bowl now of Ricky Howe on the first end of this tiebreaker, endeavouring in his first year playing in the PBA to get into a final and win his way down to North Island, to the Dunedin, to play off in those finals. Pressure on this first end on Jesse Russell. Needs to draw the shot on the backhand. Trying to get down to that jack line, but he's under the line again. Ricky Howe now in his last bowl. And this is the tiebreaker. He's going to sit on the back of his already counting bowl. Because, as I say, it's the end that counts. And the other semi-final, which has been played adjacent to this game, that of Jamie Hill up against David Eads, and I can tell you that the first set has been completed in that game, and they're now into their second set. Someone move. Russell walks away, puts the bowl down. Come back to the mat, shakes their head. On the backhand, trying to find that line, and he's not going to. Again, steering the bowl situation, really steering it under the line, and that'll be the first hit, the first of the three ends, or best of three. Go to the far north player, go to Ricky Howe. So one end away is the far north player in his first PBA event. One end away from playing in this final. And from there, of course, he's fortunate enough to win that final on the Air New Zealand plane to Dunedin to play in the final with an opportunity to win his way to the UK to play in the World Indoor Championships in late December, early January, at Potters Resort at Sheffield in the UK. And there's a lot of prize money at stake. Coming back to the centre line again consistently. Interesting, we've seen now Russell change his hand back to his forehand, which he was playing earlier on. Tell you that the prize money for that World Bowls event, the indoor event in the UK, last year's prize money for the singles was £145,000 with £55,000 to the winner. And so it's well worth the victory, that's for sure. £55,000 over 100,000 New Zealand for sure. Here's Russell now. He's going to draw the shot with his second. Looks as though he's just going to fall short on that forehand side. Ricky Howe now, but that real steel look on the backhand. Trying to get that consistency with that draw to the centre line, which he's done right throughout this event. Of course, if he was to win this end, it's all over. That'll be the shot. Draws just past the centre line. He's jack high. Russell onto the forehand, knowing now that he He's got to draw the shot. He's definitely one down. Russell now on the forehand, and he's chasing that bowl, but looks to be on that wider side. As I say, it's not quite, doesn't seem to be as kind coming back towards the centre line. And you see the bowl move around a bit. So it's Ricky Howe from the Russell Club in the far north, holding the win on the backhand, holding the shot. Jesse Russell's got a bowl to come. This bowl of Howe's is going to be over the head. So draw the shot must be here for only option open for Russell is to draw the shot, unless he thinks he can drive those two bowls in behind the head, drive them out, but I don't think the line would allow him to. So here now Russell on the mat from the Cambridge Central Club, on the forehand, down on the head, lost the first end of the tie break. He's on a tighter line with this bowl. Got to get past his own front bowl. If he does, he'll sit on the shot bowl and does. Or does it go by? It just went by, didn't touch anything on the way through. And there it is. There's your first finalist found. And it is Ricky Howe. Jesse Russell needed to sit on the shot bowl of Jesse Russell with his last bowl. Didn't do so. But here Ricky Howe now, playing in his first professional bowls event, has defeated Jesse Russell of Cambridge Central, losing the first set 8-5 did Ricky Howe. Came back and won the second set 12-3 and then won the tiebreaker by 2 ends to none. And now we see Ricky Howe just needs to wait who's going to win the Jamie Hill David Eads match, as that's who will play in the final here at Remuera in the World Bowls indoor qualifier here at the Remuera Bowling Club in Auckland.